Hello, I'm Shoshana Lippman. I'm a Magidah, which is a Jewish storyteller. And this story I would like to share with you now is mainly aimed at adults and youth. I call it The Fire in the Forest. And there are many versions of the story. I've seen a version in a set of books called The Tales of the Hasidim by Martin Buber, a great German philosopher. And I've seen a version of the story in a book called Suddenly They Heard Footsteps by a great Canadian storyteller, Dan Yashinsky. And I've also seen a version by Elie Wiesel, the great Jewish author and Holocaust survivor. This will be my version. Now, over the centuries in Eastern Europe, there were many Baal Shems. These were healers, and they would go around and they would heal people with whatever material they had on hand. Could be herbs, could be an amulet they wrote in a special way. It could be food they cooked in a holy way, or prayers they said to heaven. And the Baal Shem of the Baal Shems, that was the Baal Shem Tov, the master of the good name, Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer. May the memory of a tzaddik, a holy person, be for a blessing. When he turned 36, his life changed. Before that time, you probably wouldn't recognize him. He was what's known as a hidden tzaddik, a hidden holy person. You wouldn't know that he was full of Torah and learning and wisdom. He looked like everyone else. He dressed like a laborer. In fact, he was a laborer. He worked as a clay digger, and before that, he was a melamed, a teacher of children. And he would go around, do his healing work quietly on the side, and he would talk to people about what they were going through and try to help them through hard times. And he discovered that what they really responded to were stories and songs of inspiration. And so when he was 36, he became the leader of the modern Hasidic movement. There are many versions of that movement now. It's gone all over the world, really a central part of Judaism. Some forms of it are very, very close to the Baal Shem Tov, and some are farther away. But when the Baal Shem Tov was at his height, he would pray not only for individuals, but he would pray for our entire people. And so when he heard that there was an evil decree against us, and there's been lots, and I suppose they continue, he would go into the forest to a particular spot, and there he would light a fire in a particular way. And he would say holy prayers with holy words that went right to heaven. And his prayers would be heard, and our people would be saved. The evil decree would be annulled. Now, years passed, and one of the top disciples of the Baal Shem Tov, that was the Maggid of Mezricht, may his memory be for a blessing. He would also have that custom, same custom. If he heard our people were in trouble, he'd go to that exact same place in the forest where his holy master, the Baal Shem Tov, had gone. And he would say those holy words just the way his master taught him. But unfortunately, he no longer remembered how to light the fire in that same way. But he said those words with all his heart. They went right to heaven. And again, our people were saved. Years passed. And a disciple of the Maggid of Mezrich, that was Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sassov, he became a leader. He heard our people were in trouble. He went to that exact same spot in the forest. But he didn't know how to light the fire, and he didn't even know the prayer. But he spoke directly to heaven. He said, "I'm in the right place. It must be enough." And indeed, it was. And again, our people were saved and healed. Well, then a descendant of the Baal Shem Tov, who was named for him, he was called Rabbi Israel of Rizhin. He became a leader. He heard that our people were in trouble. But he didn't even leave his house. Just like us in the time of COVID-19, he stayed in his house. He put his head in his hands and he said directly to heaven, he addressed Hashem, the name. He said, "Oh, Holy Master, oh God, I don't know where that place is in the forest. And I don't know how to light the fire, and I don't even know the words to that prayer. But I do know this story." And he told that story and wrote Elie Wiesel. It was enough. Now, we don't know where that place is in the forest. And a lot of us, during the time of COVID-19, we couldn't go outside anyways. But even if we could, there are all these travel restrictions. You can't go to Europe. And even if you're in Europe, and even if you knew where that place was, would you light a fire? I mean, this is the time of climate change. Why increase the risk? And a lot of us do not know fully, or even a bit, the sacred language of our ancestors. But even if we know this story and we tell it with all our heart, you know what? There are many versions of this story. How do we know we're getting the right one? Some of them are about a child. Some are about our entire people. And all those rabbis' names, it's hard to remember. You really got to practice, get it right. But each one of us has a direct connection to what we call in Judaism, Shekhinah, the feminine presence of God, the divine presence. We all have access to this, whether we're male or female, whether we're Jewish, no matter what we believe or don't believe, we're all connected, one to each other and to the divine. So utilize that connection to pray and to choose the good whenever you have a chance. Not so good? Better. Choose the good. Right action. Prayer. So much we can do every day, each one of us. And God willing, it will be enough. Thank you.